been running my coaching business since 2017, and every year the costs of running it have increased. Nevertheless, my business expenses are significantly lower than what other coaching business owners pay. If you want to know how much it costs to run a coaching business and how I save over £4,000 per year on costs, grab a drink and I'll tell you all about it. Hello and welcome to the Savvy Corner. My name is Alisa and I help people manage their money, their business and their mind around it. If you've been watching me for a while, you will know that I am not against spending money, not at all. But I am an advocate of spending it in a smart way. Especially if you are at the beginning of your entrepreneurial journey, you might not have a lot of money to invest in your business. But that doesn't mean that the quality of the experience that someone has while interacting with your business should suffer. Which is why in today's video, I will not only share with you what it costs to run a coaching business, but also how you can reduce these costs while maintaining a level of professionalism and not sacrificing on quality and functionality. The costs and savings I will share with you are based on my own business expenses and needs at the moment of filming this video. You might not need all of this, or you might need more. So as always, I encourage you to make a judgment call and use this video as a guide, not as a rule. I will keep the format similar to the one I used in my video on how much it cost me to start my financial coaching business, which if you haven't seen, I will link for you on the screen and in the description box below. Therefore, I will split the expenditure into 5 main categories: education and training, hardware and equipment, software technology and tools, practicalities/legal, and miscellaneous expenditure. Let's start with education and training. In this category, I include courses, further qualifications, the cost of coaching and coaching supervision, professional memberships, books, and anything else that is CPD related. Normally, I would spend between $2,500 and $3,500 per year on this category, but because of the pandemic, I have spent a lot less and I probably won't go over $2,000 by the end of the financial year. So let's say $2,000 for this category. The next one is hardware and equipment. Here I include things like filming cameras, lenses, spare batteries, a new phone, memory cards, microphones, cables, etc. I don't tend to buy a lot of gizmos, but when you run a YouTube channel like I do and you want to constantly improve the quality of your videos, this expense is inevitable. I spend about £750 per year on this. Here comes the big category where business costs are likely to increase: software, technology, and tools. As the name would suggest, it includes any piece of software or technology that you use to support your business, from client and project management systems to scheduling tools, social media management, and everything in between. I also include my website related costs in here, such as domain and hosting. And because it's such a huge category, let's break it down into some subcategories. And I thought of 5 in total: business licensing, website, client management, social media and marketing, and learning/teaching. I pay £114 for the Microsoft Office package for business and £208 for domain hosting, ID, and ID Protect. In terms of the tools that fall under other subcategories, I have a lot of them, so I will share an Excel sheet on the screen with everything that I use and talk you through it. As you can see, under client management, I have a scheduling tool, a project and client management tool with the CRM included, an email marketing service, and a tool to create lead magnets and digital products for a total value of £1,583 per year. Under social media and marketing, I pay for 5 tools. I'm not going to read them all, but you can see a lot of it is in relation to video. And here the total annual value is $1,675. And the final subcategory is learning/teaching, where I spend money on 3 tools: an online course platform, a software for hosting webinars and live classes, and a live streaming software. The total value here is £2,010. So the total cost for software, technology and tools is £5,590, including the MS Office license and the website costs. We will come back to this category to talk about savings, but first let's finish off with the rest of the costs. Before we do that though, if you're enjoying the video so far, I would appreciate it if you gave it a big thumbs up and consider subscribing. It helps to support the channel and it gives me an indication of what type of videos you like to watch so I can make more of them. Thank you in advance if you do. I really appreciate your support. Let's move on to the next category, practicality/legal. Here I include insurance costs, accounting and finance software costs, and bank charges. If you're doing your own finances and you don't have a team, then the costs of accounting software is around £150 per year. I used to have bank charges, but I switched banks, so I don't need to pay those anymore. And for insurance, I pay around £120 to £140 per year. So let's say a total of £300 here. I personally use an accounting software called Wave Accounting, which is free. However, if you don't have an accounting background or a bit of experience with finance, it takes a bit of work to set it up, and the terminology is more relevant to the US market. They've also stopped automatically pulling transactions from your bank if you're outside of the US, so it's a bit more involved to run your finances through it. I'm an accountant, so it's not a problem for me, but something to be aware of if you are considering a free software like Wave. If not, be prepared to pay about £150 per year. The fifth and final category is miscellaneous, and here I include travel and accommodation, food while I'm away on business, and some services that I'm subscribed to. I did very little travel this year, but normally I would spend at least £500 in this category. When I say travel, I don't mean fly abroad to give a presentation, but rather travel to get to an in-person event or a course. If I travel to deliver something, usually the costs of travel are either covered by the organizers or I add them on top of my fee. I said this is the final category, but these are not all the costs that you can expect. There is other expenditure which will be dependent on your business volume and the way you decide to conduct your business. And this includes transaction fees, affiliate commissions, staff or contractor costs, etc. Also, don't neglect tax. You need to set aside money for tax so you don't get to the end of the year with a tax bill that you are not able to cover. I will link a previous video below where I talk about how I manage my small business finances and what to be aware of. These other costs, though, will depend on whether you have any affiliate programs, how much you charge and what commission you offer, how you take payments and how often you take them, if you pay other people to help you in your business, etc. So I can't give you a number here. These are variable costs that you'll have to perform your own calculations based on your situation. Okay, so far we have a total of £9,140 per year plus the other variable costs that I mentioned and tax. I told you at the beginning of the video that I save over 4K per year on costs, which means that I pay less than half of this 9,000 that I mentioned. How do I do this? The category where I am able to save the most is software, technology and tools. Remember the Excel sheet I shared with you? The numbers on that sheet were the annual costs of using these tools if I were to buy them directly from their websites. But I didn't do that. Instead, I used a service called AppSumo. AppSumo is a website where software providers can offer deals for their products or services, and usually what they offer are lifetime deals. What that means is that you pay for the software once and you never have to pay again. You can use that product for years to come and you don't have to pay anything else other than your first one-off investment. Let's have a look at that spreadsheet again. The market value of the software I use with all the functionalities and technical support I get is £5,268 per year. But I only paid £908 because I bought all these tools via AppSumo. Assuming I bought everything in 1 year, my saving in that year is £4,360. However, I intend to use these tools for many years to come, and therefore my yearly savings in the future will be the full amount of £5,268 per year because I don't have to pay anything else. Pretty cool, right? All of a sudden, I can run my business for less than £5,000 per year. Plus, of course, tax, transaction fees, contractor costs, and other variable expenditure. But for these fixed or more predictable costs, I'm able to save a fair amount of money by using AppSumo. If you already use it, good for you. Let me know in the comments how much it has helped you save. If you're hearing about it for the first time, though, they are a legitimate company. I bought lots of tools and software from them, and so far I've never had an issue. And the best thing about them is that they do their best to remove any risks for the buyers. If you bought something and within 60 days you're not happy with your purchase, you can return it for a full refund with no questions asked. I refunded 2 purchases, not because the tools were not good, but because they were not a perfect fit for me and my business at the time. So I can confirm that the refund process works perfectly. This video is not sponsored by AppSumo, and I don't have to talk about them. But I choose to because I have kept my costs to a minimum because of them, and I want to share this tip so that you can do the same. I will link their website in the description box below. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, check out these 2 as well. That's it from me for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!